Hey y'all, and welcome back to another segment. Uh, Young Thug YSL Day 39 trial. Okay, I really don't know what it's going to be about today, but we will make our judgment call as we go. Okay. Let's give our attention to uh, what's going on in the trial for today. Okay. Hope everybody doing good.
All right, Mr. Stillwell, Mr. Sharp, Mr. Botts. Good morning, gentlemen. All right, Mr. Williams, Mr. Steele, and Miss Bernard. Good morning. All right, look for Mr. Adam. Okay, all right, and Mr. Kendrick, Mr. Weinstein. Welcome back, sir. All right, good morning, Mr. Huey, Mr. Matthew Senior. Good morning, um, Mr. Nichols, Mr. Harvey, Ms. Westmoreland. Good morning. And your client's concurrence. Okay. Mr. Nichols, you okay with that? Okay, fine. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, Mr. Ryan and Ms. D. Williams. Okay, Ms. Hill, Mr. Smith, Mr. Hilton, Mr. Atkins. Mr. Yelsky hiding in the cheap seats this morning. Good morning. Okay, okay, all right. Okay. Sergeant Mall or jurors here? Okay, all right. Um, Anything to take up before I summon our jurors?
I like Young Thug.
Yes, ma'am. How long ago was that?
Why she ain't in the microphone?
Okay. All right. I'll entertain other business in the pendency. Mr. Steele, anything? All right. Depending upon how long, I'll recess in place, but I still have to take up the redaction of Mr. Winfrey's conviction and the motion for the notes and recordings of Mr. Wise. So I'll recess in place, give a couple minutes, and we'll see where we are. Anybody else? Okay. All right. Well, I'm just gonna recess in place, and you give me an
I
update
know
on
that
things.
right, Young Thug. He have more resets than he have anything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's get to the business. Reset, recess, loud, how much? Jesus. They just came on. Let me skip this thing. These folk do more resets than anything. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Who is this, y'all? Hold on.
No, ma'am.
Uh-oh. Let me see who
Do I
he.
drive a car?
Hold on. Oh, let me see who this is. Uh-oh. Oh, they waiting on the dude. Who is this dude right here? Who is that
Mr.
dude?
Matthews, where is he?
Boy, Mr. Still ready, boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Hey, Mimi. Thank you for being here, baby.
Sergeant Ingram. All right, let's see all of our participants right here present.
Thank y'all for hitting the right button.
He has an appointment. Okay, everybody else present? Okay, all right, good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, jury, good morning. All right, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to continue with the presentation of the state's case. So, Ms. Love, call your next witness. State House, Adrian Bean. All right, summon Mr. Bean, please.
I don't know him.
Mr. Bean, good morning, sir. You would please approach the witness stand. Once you get there, if you would turn and face Sergeant Ingram and be sworn as a witness, please, before you sit down.
Them boys handsome now since they older. They was some thug looking boys then. Handsome black men now.
Bless you. Adrian Bean. Adrian. Mr. Bean, you're welcome to leave your mask on if you choose to do so. Just make sure you speak right into the microphone. Pull yourself up as close as you can so we can all hear
Take
you.
that mask out so we can hear you.
PA system, okay?
Okay?
I think we can. All right. Really? Continue, madam.
And Mr. Bean, I'm going to stand over here, so if you would speak loudly enough so that I can hear you, that way the last juror can hear you.
Can you get on the mic yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
And you can adjust that microphone, put it closer to
She
your
need to get on the microphone.
mouth.
Y'all can't hear?
I can hear you great. You're doing good. Mr. Bean, is this the first time that you and I have met?
I can't hear her.
No, ma'am.
And where were we when we first met? Not the exact address, just generally. Were you at your job?
I can't hear her, Mike.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, would you tell the jury a little bit about yourself, starting with how old you are?
I'm 44 years old.
And are you from Atlanta?
Yes, ma'am.
44.
Did you grow up in Atlanta?
Yes, ma'am.
What part of Atlanta?
The east side of Atlanta.
Is that zone 3?
No, ma'am.
What zone is the part of Atlanta that you grew up in?
Can't hear her.
I started off on Moreland Avenue, ma'am.
Okay. And how far would you say the area where you did grow up is from the Cleveland Avenue and Old Hateville area of Atlanta? For the people inside the courtroom that don't know.
I'm from Atlanta.
All right. Now, are you married?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have children?
Yes, ma'am.
How many children do you have?
I have 3 grown kids.
I was going to ask you how old they were, so 3 grown kids. All right. And back in 2013, were you living in Atlanta as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I don't want to know the exact address, but can you tell us if you were living in the same part of Atlanta that you were living in that you are currently living in, if you live in Atlanta at all?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go to school in Atlanta?
Yes, ma'am.
What high school did you go to?
Southside High School.
Southside.
High school, did you go to work, go into service, or do something different?
I didn't finish high school. I didn't graduate.
What grade did you go up to?
Ninth grade.
And when you left high school, what did you do?
I can't remember.
Did you work?
Really can't remember.
He was a hustler.
So how old were you when you got your first job?
I can't remember.
What type of work do you work now?
Yes, ma'am.
What type of work do you do?
Hustle.
I'm a foreman right now.
So you supervise other people?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. How long have you had that job?
2 weeks.
2 years now.
All right. Back in 2013, were you working at a similar job or were you working at some other place?
I don't remember.
2233 Macon Drive. Are you familiar with that address here in Atlanta?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember the address of the place that you lived in Atlanta in 2013?
No, ma'am.
How many homes have you had in Atlanta?
Can't hear her.
Oh, Mr. Steele. I can't count them.
More than 3?
That I've had
Yes, that you lived at for any period of time in Atlanta?
multiple.
Okay. Have you ever had a residence or a location that you frequented on Macon Drive in Atlanta?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to show you what I've already marked as State's Exhibit 156C, 156 chart. And after you finish that, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to show it.
They need to turn on the microphone. Common sense. The cameraman at. Cuz, turn up the microphone. I want to hear these questions. Irritating.
I'm going to show you what the state has already marked as State's Exhibit 156 chart. And ask you if you recognize the area depicted in State's 156 chart.
I don't really remember that address right now, ma'am.
Say that one more time.
I don't remember that address right now.
Do you know when you say you don't remember this address, do you remember the structure inside this photograph?
No, ma'am.
Okay. What was the last address that you do remember living at in Atlanta?
703 Hutch.
Move out the way, lady. Now you know you got right in front of the camera. Nobody want to see you.
And how far would that be from the location of Cleveland Avenue and Old Hayville Road in Atlanta?
I really can't tell you how much how far that will be.
Mr. Bean, when we spoke at your job the last time that we met, or the first time that we met, did you want to
No, ma'am.
and did you want to come in here and testify?
No, ma'am.
Let me see. Can I put on the closed caption?
And did you come only because you were giving us a peek? And Your Honor, respectfully, with the yes or no question, I do not object. Yes, Your Honor. If you had not received a subpoena, would you be here today?
No, ma'am.
Mr. B, do you drive?
Do I drive
Yes, sir.
a car?
Do you drive at all? Are you able to drive?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you have a vehicle in 2013?
Not in my name.
No matter whose name it was in, did you have access to one?
I don't remember.
Take your attention back to September 11th.
I can't hear her.
Do you recall that date?
In 2013, I don't really recall nothing that happened in 2013.
Well, let me ask you a more specific question. Do you recall ever crashing a vehicle into a coin laundry at Cleveland Avenue in Old Hayville?
I really don't remember.
I can show you what's already been admitted as
Oh!
JW exhibit number E as in 80 and ask you if you recognize
What's up? Now he not snitching. I can't hear what she asking him.
and as soon as counsel for the defendants have an opportunity to look at these, I'm going to bring them up to you. They've already. I mean,
Jesus.
showing you defendant's exhibit number 80. This picture has already been admitted as evidence. Would you tell the jury if you recognize the items shown in this picture?
Can I say something?
You
What has it got to pertain to this? Can I say something?
okay? After you answer the question, which you have to do.
Because I don't remember nothing that happened in 2013. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
I understand. What I have to do is ask you the question and determine what you do in front of the So, what is your response as to whether or not you recognize the images shown in defendant's exhibit number 8?
I don't remember.
And I'm going to show you defendant's exhibit number 81. Do you recognize what's shown there?
No, ma'am.
What about number 101 for defendant exhibit?
You see a car? Well, I don't remember.
Okay, that's fine. Is your answer the same for defendant's exhibit number 82 And did you meet anyone else from the district attorney's office in the last 2 years besides myself?
I haven't had a chance to talk. I haven't talked to nobody, met anybody, or anything. I've been working, minding my business, and that's all I've been doing.
And do you recognize any persons that are seated at either the table line one at here or the table behind us here? Do you recognize either of these voices?
No, ma'am.
Looking around the courtroom, do you recognize anyone else anyone inside the courtroom?
No, ma'am.
Do you know a person by the name of Jeffrey Williams?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you know two people by the name of Jeffrey Williams? Do you know a person named Jeffrey Williams that is also called Young Thug?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you known him?
I don't know him like that. I know him just because he's a rapper.
I'm sorry.
I don't know him like that.
You know him just what?
Musical. Through music.
Okay. Is it your testimony that you have no personal knowledge of Jeffrey Williams known as Young Thug?
Personal dealing. I don't know him like me.
You don't know him like that.
You know, hang together.
When you say, I don't know him like that, but you know him, would you explain to the jury how you know him?
Music. Listening to music.
Have you? And have you ever had any,
Heard of it.
only heard of his music? Is that what I said?
Yes, ma'am.
In 2013, did you know Jeffrey Williams Jr.?
I really don't have any knowledge about 2013, ma'am. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. I don't really have any knowledge about 2013. Once I went to prison and came
Come
home,
on, lady, get off in front of the camera.
everything that happened in 2013 or whatever has been put behind me and set forth. So I've been, working, just doing my things as I can.
That's right.
I
You don't want to remember that.
It happened 10 years ago.
When did you go to prison?
I think it was around 2015, something like that.
2015.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you went to prison,
And I came home 2017.
the incident that you went to prison for, what year did that incident take place?
I can't recall.
Do you recall the sentence that you got?
I don't remember.
Are you still under that sentence?
Move, lady.
I don't remember.
Do you recall getting hit by a car on September 11th of 2013?
So due to the lack of things that I was doing back in the days, I don't really have no knowledge of nothing. I put everything behind me from back then, and I just lived everything. I've been kind of blacked out ever since then about everything that went on with me in my life back then.
That's right.
And what things are you talking about?
I suffered from Molly. I don't know if y'all familiar with that.
You suffered from
Yes, ma'am. I don't know if anybody in the courtroom is familiar with that. I took a lot of drugs back in the day, and it shit made a lot of things went wrong with me and my family. So I kind of since I straightened my life out,
That's right.
after coming home from prison, everything had just been white blank. I ain't remember nothing that went on back then, or nothing that had anything that going on with anybody else. It's just been just me and my life, and trying to just stay successful and free, and just keep living the way I've been living in this city of Atlanta.
Now, how long have you been doing? Congratulations on me.
How old?
Well, he being honest.
And what, when you said that you were on drugs, how long were you on drugs?
I abused them.
How long did you abuse drugs? From what year to what?
I can't recall.
Where did you get your drugs from?
I can't recall.
When I asked you earlier if you recognize anyone in the courtroom besides me, would you tell the jury if you see the person that you called Jeffrey Williams, known as Young Thug, in the courtroom? Look around the entire room.
Yes, ma'am.
Where is he located?
I mean, over on that side right now.
Would you describe what he's wearing so that the record properly reflects who you're talking about?
I mean, right there, suit, black tie.
Is he seated between a young lady in a yellow dress and a young man in a blue suit? Your Honor, would the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant Jeffrey Williams? Thank you. Were you Jeffrey Williams on September 11th of 2013?
I can't recall.
When did you first meet Jeffrey Williams?
Young Thug ain't smiling at him, boy.
I only know Jeffrey Williams through making music.
Okay.
Rapper. And being in the neighborhood, like surrounding neighborhood. I don't know him like personally. And I don't hang with Jeffrey Williams. I'm not a member of YSL. I'm not nothing. I don't have no parts of anything that's going on with nothing that I can recall of.
What did you call Jeffrey Williams?
Ma'am,
What did you call Jeffrey Williams? You said you knew him by his music. What did you call him back in 2013?
the songs he had.
Objection, Mr. Matthews.
I never really called him anything.
I know what he mean.
Referred to him. Did you use a particular name?
No, ma'am.
If you know him by his music, what is the name that you know him by his music?
The music, Young Thug.
Young Thug. Okay. And since you do know his music, what was the earliest music of his that you are familiar with?
I can't recall.
Are you familiar with a release of his?
Ooh, we should move this white suit.
No, ma'am.
When you said or CFN, are you familiar with a release of his by that name?
No, ma'am.
You said that you were familiar with him through what parts of Atlanta did you name?
Music. Cleveland Avenue.
Oh. Did you live on Cleveland Avenue at any time in your life?
No, ma'am.
So what was it that took you to Cleveland Avenue that allowed you to see Young Thug?
Off Cleveland Avenue, and I never seen.
Oh, hold on. Mr. B, when there's an objection, you got to stop talking, okay?
Oh, yes, sir.
And then let me rule upon it, and then I'll let you know whether or not you can answer the question. I'm an overrule the objection.
I can't hear them.
And I'm going to overrule the objection. You may answer the question, sir, okay?
So that it is exactly right, Your Honor, may I ask that the court reporter review that question that was asked? Mr. Bates, listen to the court. So what was it?
I never went to Cleveland Avenue to see Young Thug.
So when you speak of knowing
I
him,
never lived on Cleveland Avenue. I lived off in the neighborhood of Cleveland Avenue. I never stayed on Cleveland Avenue, period.
how far from Cleveland Avenue did you live?
Hutchins Road,
How far was that?
703 Hutchins.
How far was that from Cleveland Avenue?
I don't know this. I can't recall the distance of how far it is and that. But it's in the neighborhood. It's not on Cleveland Avenue.
And when you said you knew Young Thug from Cleveland Avenue and the neighborhood and the community, what did you mean by that?
I said I knew him from Cleveland Avenue in the neighborhood.
Okay,
I said I know him by his music. I never said I know him on Cleveland Avenue. Yeah, what's his name, did I? But I said I knew him by his music.
okay.
He's a rapper. That was my statement.
So, when you first mentioned Cleveland Avenue, do you recall what it was that you told the jury?
Say one more time.
When you first mentioned Cleveland Avenue today, just a second ago, do you recall what it was you first told the jury?
I didn't recall. I don't remember anything like 2013. That I really don't have.
He don't want to remember that
About
stuff.
2011.
I don't remember.
Do you know what kind of car Young Thug drove back in 2013?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Have you ever been hit by a car?
Yes, ma'am.
How many times?
I've been in several accidents.
Has your body physically, while outside of a car, been hit by another car?
Yes, ma'am.
How many times?
Once.
What happened in that time?
I really don't remember
How do you remember?
everything that happened.
Okay, you don't have to remember everything. Just tell the jury what you do remember.
I don't remember.
How do you remember then that you got hit by a car while outside?
Because I have been hit several times in an accident, ma'am.
Right. Do you recall that you just told the jury that you only been hit by a car while outside a vehicle one time? Do you tell the jury that just one a few seconds ago?
Yes, ma'am.
So how are you able to remember that one time?
I really don't.
Why did you say it?
I don't know. I'm really just so many stuff. Y'all rushing me in here so fast. Start throwing stuff at me and stuff like that. And I'm trying to tell you, like 2013 and whatever happened to me in the past, since I did my time, I kind of watched everything clean. I don't recall none of it.
When you got hit by that car, was that on September 11th of 2013?
I don't remember. The date I got hit, I don't remember.
Do you remember if it was in 2011?
No, ma'am, I don't remember.
Do you remember if you went to jail after that?
I really don't remember.
Do you know how many times that you have lost
Thank you,
following being hit by a car?
Gigi.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall being hit by a police car?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall getting a big old bump on your head after being hit by a police car?
I really don't recall, ma'am.
Have you ever been arrested in Fulton County and taken to Rice Street?
I've been to Rice Street a couple of times.
And while you are in Rice Street, obviously you're not in there now, so are you able to get bonded out? Or do you remain there until a trial?
I don't know.
Have you ever posted bond to get out of Rice Street, or had someone post it for you?
I may be able to get out of jail on Rice Street, yes, ma'am.
Who, during the time that you've gotten out of jail, who was it that paid your rent?
Can't really remember who paid the bond.
Were you married to your wife in September of 2013?
My wife been married for a while now, for years now, since 2000.
together for a while. That's safe to say.
27 years now.
Congratulations. Would your wife sometimes tell God when you were arrested?
Get off in front of the camera, lady.
Yes.
And did you, while you were in Rice Street, were you have or given the opportunity to call your wife? Did you call your wife while you were in Rice Street?
I don't remember.
After you were arrested? Foundation.
Oh, wow.
You don't recall whether you called your wife after you were arrested at any time in Rice Street? Do you recall telephoning your wife in September, specifically September 11th or September 12th, 2013, after you had been placed in Rice Street?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telephoning your wife at all from a jail during that time?
No, ma'am.
You stated that you did not recall or you did not recognize.
I don't remember.
Items that were reflected in the defendant's number 80, 81. Do you recall saying that?
Lady, move.
Got to show it. I don't remember.
Mr. Coco or Mr. Steele, may I get you to place on the screen defendant's number 80?
So was that card you showed?
You remember what it was? I'll let him place it on the screen.
Of all days, we can't hear her.
Would you assume that?
He remember that accident. You ain't gonna forget that accident right there, baby.
Or on the red card?
Can't hear him. Ooh, wait.
That red card that you're looking at on your left shoulder.
God.
I don't remember that.
Do you remember ever being in that car? Do you remember ever driving that car?
I don't remember, ma'am.
On September the 11th of 2013, do you remember being at, or let me ask you before I go there, do you know the area of Summerdale Apartments off of Old Hateville Road in Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta?
Yes, he do.
I don't remember.
You don't remember whether you know the apartment?
No, ma'am.
As you sit here now, have you ever heard of Summerdale Commons?
No, ma'am.
Look like you ain't gonna get nothing out of him.
No, ma'am.
They were young.
With a profile institute of barber styling at that location.
No, ma'am.
Are you familiar with the McDonald's that was at that location in 2013?
No, ma'am.
Are you familiar with a BP gas station that was at that location in 2013?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember in 2013 talking to a detective, David Sweet?
I don't recall.
Do you recall being involved in an incident with Walter Murphy on September 7th of 2013?
I don't really remember.
Do you know who Walter Murphy is?
No, ma'am.
Do you know a person that you call DK?
No,
She gotta remember they were teenagers.
Now,
They don't remember that.
back in 2013, September 11, 2013, how old would you have been? Tell the jury what your birthday is.
1979.
What is the month and day?
6/22/79.
All right.
He was.
Recall ever being in a vehicle with Young Thug on September 11th of 2013.
I don't recall, ma'am.
Do you recall being in that same vehicle or a vehicle with Walter Murphy and Young Thug on September 11th, 2013?
I really don't recall, ma'am.
Do you recall speaking with Detective David Quinn about your time in a vehicle with Walter Murphy and Young Thug on September 11th, 2013?
Ma'am, I don't recall nothing that happened in 2013.
All right. Do you know who Frederick Crossroads is?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever heard of a person who goes by the name Big Fred?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever called anyone? Know a person that you have ever called Big Nick?
I don't remember. No, ma'am.
Do you know whether you know anyone named Nick?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Oh, Big Nick.
Do you know anyone by the name of Frederick Crossroads?
No, ma'am.
Do you know anyone that you call Big Fred?
I just answered that.
Do you know anyone that you call Skate?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever met a person called Skate?
No, ma'am.
Do you know a person by the name of
No, ma'am.
We been doing. No, ma'am.
telling Detective David Quinn in 2013 that you have a friend named Skateboard.
No, ma'am.
Detective David Quinn that you had known Skateboard for about 2 years.
Except for the last 3 hours.
2013.
I don't recall that conversation, ma'am.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that, in fact, you borrowed the vehicle depicted in Defendant Exhibit 8 from a friend of Skateboard?
I don't recall, ma'am.
As you sit here today, do you recall borrowing the vehicle that is shown in Defendant 80?
No, ma'am. I don't recall.
Do you recall driving the vehicle that is depicted in Defendant's 80?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall flying or driving the vehicle depicted in Defendant's 80 while a person named Big Fred, DK, and Thug were in that same vehicle?
I don't remember.
Can you think of a time that you might have driven that vehicle
No, ma'am.
while DK, Big Fred, and Thug were in the vehicle? Do you recall speaking with Detective David Quinn on September 16th of 2013?
No, ma'am. I don't recall.
Do you recall Detective David Quinn coming to the jail to pick you up around that time? To pick you up from Rice Street?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall riding in a vehicle with Detective David Quinn around that time?
She ain't got no picture of him.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn on or around September 16th, 2013, that you are a family man?
I don't remember any conversation that me and Detective Quinn supposedly have had, ma'am. I don't recall even speaking with Detective Quinn, period.
And I appreciate
I
it
can't
and
remember.
understand. But I do have to ask you, just to establish for this jury what you do and don't remember. So I have to ask you these questions, okay? Can you bear with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Do you have a picture of him?
With Detective David Quinn to an Atlanta police headquarters building.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall speaking with Detective Quinn in an interview room at the Atlanta Police Department?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall being read your rights by a Detective David Quinn on or about September 16th, 2013?
No, ma'am.
And when I say read your rights, do you understand what I'm talking about?
No, ma'am.
When you were arrested during the times that you said you went to jail, were you read rights that entail you have the right to remain silent?
I don't remember.
Do you recall talking to Detective David Quinn about the location shown in State Exhibit 156 Charlie on Macon Drive?
I don't recall any conversations that I've had with Detective Quinn.
Do you recall whether that location that I showed you in State Exhibit 156 Charlie was an after-hour spot that either you or your wife visited back in 2013?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall, or did you know that your wife went to that location?
Basis. Assistant education.
Are you aware if your wife went to that location in 2013?
Assistant education.
Do you know, or have you and your wife ever visited 2233 Macon Drive in Atlanta?
I can't recall, ma'am.
Have you and or your wife ever visited the location depicted in State 156 Charlie?
I can't recall, no, ma'am.
Do you know whether the house depicted in 156 Charlie is in Zone 3 in Atlanta?
I don't know what side. I ain't real good with the sides because they switch up.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I'm not real good with the zones because they switch up.
Do you know the area of Atlanta that would have been Zone 3 in 2013?
Not the full area of Zone 3.
Back in 2013, specifically on or about September 16, 2013, did you have a dope record?
I don't remember, ma'am.
I don't even remember what I was doing.
Telling Detective David Quinn on September 16, 2013, that you have a dope record, but that you were through with drugs?
Basis. Assistant education.
Do you recall talking to Detective David Quinn about your struggle with drugs?
I don't remember.
Hormone injection.
You may answer for the jury.
I don't remember any conversations that I've had with a
I can't
detective.
remember. Shoot, 2013. I don't remember nothing.
Remember Detective Quinn telling you that anytime he deals with someone,
Assistant education.
Your Honor, I'm establishing the foundation.
She's keep asking her the same questions.
Assistant education.
Come on now.
Orienting the witness.
Assistant education. Rephrase it though.
Have you at any time ever been told by Detective Quinn or been taken out of a facility by Detective David Quinn? telling Detective David Quinn on September 16, 2013, that you had gone as far as the 11th grade in school?
No, ma'am.
By that time, by September 11th of 2013, had you gotten to the grade?
I don't remember that. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Now, at this time today,
Hey, Shelly.
Yes, ma'am.
and on September 16, 2013, could you read and write?
I don't remember, ma'am. I can't read and write, though.
Say that for me again.
I can read and write.
Has Detective David Quinn ever told you, said to you the words, "You have the right to remain silent"?
Sustain the objection.
It would be offered and asked, Your Honor, for its
What's been
effect
asked?
on the listener.
It's been asked and answered already, though.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Have you ever been told by Detective David Quinn that you have the right to consult with an attorney?
I'm old on that one.
No, ma'am.
Have you ever been told by Detective David Quinn that you have a right to have an attorney present with you during any questioning?
No, ma'am.
Are you saying to the jury you don't recall, or that that never happened?
I don't remember.
You don't remember nothing back then.
Whether Detective
It's a
David Quinn
teenager.
would have told you on or about September 16, 2013,
Shoot.
that if you could not afford an attorney, one would be provided to you at no cost.
I don't remember any conversations that I had with that Detective Quinn.
You're not gonna remember. I don't remember nothing in 2013. I don't remember that stuff.
Do you recall
Gosh.
telling Detective Quinn about being in the back of a police car on September the 11th, 2013?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall whether Detective Quinn ever said to you that I don't have any charges on you, but I'm investigating a case?
Is this what you're saying? Yes, Your Honor. What's your response, madam?
Effect on the listener.
Oh, objection.
He don't
No, ma'am.
Is your no meaning to suggest or testify that it never happened, or that you don't remember?
I don't remember any conversation that I have had with a Detective Quinn, ma'am.
Man, you don't remember that stuff.
Do you recall Detective Quinn telling you that he was investigating a case where an officer shot his weapon?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective David Quinn back in 2013 telling you about meeting your wife?
No, ma'am.
Show him a picture. I'm about to remember that. 2013 and he 44 now. Nobody want to remember that. He a changed
Do you
man.
recall telling Detective David Quinn that you have 2 sons and a daughter?
No, ma'am. I don't remember.
Did you have 3 children on September 11th, 2013?
Yes, ma'am.
Were they around the ages of 17, 12, and 10 on September 11th of 2013?
I don't remember how old they really was around 213. This is 13. Let's see. I have to add it up.
But
I don't remember.
did you live over on the west side of Atlanta in September of 2013?
I don't remember.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that you lived on the west side of Atlanta?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn in September 2013 that at that time you lived off of Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta?
I don't remember any conversation that I have had with a Detective Quinn.
Do you recall telling any police detective in September 2013?
Or any other officer, ma'am.
Now,
Man going on 50 years old. You asking him them questions.
or did 2013, Keith Meadows.
You said who?
Keith Meadows.
What he's got to do with anything?
Sir, I have to ask you the question. I have to exact for you to answer. So can you please tell the jury?
2013, no ma'am.
No, I'm asking you, do you know what Keith Meadows?
Yes ma'am, I know Keith Meadows.
And in 2013, what kind of work did Keith Meadows do?
I don't remember.
Was he a major Keith Meadows back then?
I don't remember.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn about the unfortunate occasion of a cousin of yours having been killed?
No ma'am.
She brought Keith
Do you
name
recall
up.
telling Detective David Quinn in that conversation about your cousin that Keith Meadows at that time was a chief now?
No ma'am.
Do you recall talking with Detective David Quinn or anyone from the Atlanta Police Department about going to get some codeine lean to drink on September 11, 2013?
No ma'am.
Do you recall talking to someone from the Atlanta Police Department in September 2013 about how you went up the street on September 11 to holler at a dude?
No ma'am.
Do you recall telling a police detective, in particular David Quinn, in September 2013 that the dude hopped out the car and fired shots?
No ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that everything happened so quick at one time as it relates to that dude firing shots?
I don't recall having any conversations with the Detective Quinn.
Do you recall telling any police detective that information in September 2013?
No ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective David Quinn or any police detective in September 2013 playing calls for you that you made to your wife while you were at Rice Street?
No ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn speaking to you regarding your being the driver of the red car in State's Exhibit 156 Charlie?
No ma'am.
Get that boy a
Do you
break.
recall looking at a photograph of Young Thug while you spoke to Detective David Quinn or any other police detective in September of 2013?
No ma'am.
Do you recall pointing out Young Thug in that photograph as the person you were referring to as Jeffrey Williams?
No ma'am.
Do you recall telling any police detective that Jeffrey Williams or Young Thug, DK, and Big Fred were in a car with you at the time that the shooting occurred?
No ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn or any other police department in September 2013 offering you drinks or water or soda or something during a time that you were interviewed by them?
No ma'am.
Do you recall asking for an orange soda?
No ma'am.
I don't understand this,
Do you
Rico.
recall telling Detective David Quinn or anyone else on September 2013 about a guy that you knew named Brian?
No ma'am.
you recall telling Detective Quinn or anyone else at the Atlanta Police Department that a Mexican kid came with a person named Brian a couple of times during 2013 to see you?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective David Quinn or anyone else with the Atlanta Police Department asking you at Atlanta Police Headquarters to tell them about September 11th, 2013, and how you ended up with the car shown in States 156 Charlie?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall talking to Detective David Quinn or anyone else with the
Move, woman.
about how you ended up all skipped up the way you were at that time?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that on September 11th, 2013, you pulled up at your spot?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling him that your spot was on Mason Drive?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that he probably saw a black Camry at your spot?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling him that you couldn't remember the address of the spot because you had two spots?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn or any other detective with APD that one of the spots that's across the street would be 2246 Macon, and that you think the other one is 2323 Macon?
I don't recall having any conversations with a Detective Quinn.
Do you recall having any knowledge that your wife met any police detective at 2233 Macon Drive in Atlanta on September 11, 2013?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling anybody with the Atlanta Police Department that you pulled in at 2233 Macon Drive on September the 11th, 2013?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling that after you pulled in, you parked?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling anyone at APD in September 2013 that 15, 20, or 30 minutes after you parked, Brian pulled up?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling anyone that Brian called you and said he needed to holler at you about something?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling anyone at APD that Brian then pulled up?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall mentioning at that point, this guy, Young Thug?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling anyone at APD that you and Brian just shot the shit for a minute?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn or anyone else that you asked Brian to come chop it up with you, and the guy, Young Thug, rolled up and said, "Hey man, I just seen a dude with about $33,000 on it. You know when?"
No, ma'am.
That don't even make sense.
I'm not refreshing recollection.
I'll rule the objection, sir.
Do you recall Detective David Quinn asking you, who are you talking about? Who's Young Thug?
No, ma'am.
Do
She
you
making
recall
up stuff.
Detective David Quinn asking you, wait a minute, who is it that you said told you about seeing a dude with $22,000 or $33,000 on it?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn again, more than once, that's what Young Thug said?
No, ma'am.
Here they bought some water.
Detective David Quinn asking you, is he the kid with the dreadlocks that you be always hanging out with at McDonald's?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn on September 16th or September 17th, 2013, that Young Thug, he's a rapper? He's a rapper.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective David Quinn asking you whether this person you were calling Young Thug was real skinny?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective David Quinn asking
Move,
you whether this person
woman.
you call Young Thug wore his pants like in
Gosh.
white boys and shit?
No, ma'am.
Cameraman need to move.
David Quinn. Yep, that's him. That's him.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that Young Thug was screaming that he saw a guy with some money or whatever?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that you, Big Fred, and you all with Young Thug and DK go in Brian's car to see about that situation?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Get off in front of the
Do you
camera.
recall telling Detective David Quinn or anyone about the guy with the D and the K in his face?
Oh, Lord. Move, woman.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that the guy with the D and the K in his face was one of the people that went to check on the guy with all the money?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that after they went and checked on that money, they found out that nothing was going on with that situation?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that after you all determined that nothing was going on with that situation, you, DK, were the person with the D and the K on his face? Big Fred and Young Thug were all going in on some lean.
No, ma'am.
Do you know what lean is?
No, ma'am.
You don't know what lean is?
No, ma'am.
I stand the objection.
Have you ever referred to anything as lean?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever taken or drank lean?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that you all went to get some lean?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that you got
Come on, lady.
there in Summerdale?
You can show him a
No,
picture.
ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling him that you had $50 but that Big Fred had nothing?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall saying that he don't know nothing about nothing, he just coming home with the same thing to Detective Quinn?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that Thug and DK got a car for you?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that you were driving the car that Detective David in the 186 truck?
No, ma'am. I don't recall any conversation that I've had with a detective.
He told you that.
Recall telling Detective
Move.
No, ma'am. Any detective.
I got a picture.
Move out the way, miss.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, y'all.
Okay.
Go out the way.
You all gave DK money to go get some money.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn or anyone else that DK went around the corner and started firing some shots or something? Shots just go off.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn or anyone else that when he got back, you were looking at DK like, what the hell's going on? Do you recall telling anyone at APD that you asked DK, what the fuck are you shooting for? What are you shooting at?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling anyone at APD that DK got in the car and said, go, go, go?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall seeing a Taurus in somebody else's apartment on September 11, 2013?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that a Taurus pulled up and that when it pulled out, you tried to go around the car?
I don't recall.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn at first that it was a black car, but then correcting it and saying blue?
I don't recall.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you if the Taurus that you saw was like the one Detective Quinn picked you up?
No, ma'am.
Do you the Taurus pulled up, the person in the Taurus was trying to see what was going on, and you were trying to see what was going on.
No, ma'am.
Paul telling Detective David Quinn that you had backed the car depicted in State 156 Charlie into a parking space.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Describing for Detective Quinn or anyone else how the Taurus approached as you were backing.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that the Taurus was about 2 car lengths at the
Keep
time
on
that you
asking him that.
No, ma'am.
Do
What
you
am I?
recall telling Detective Quinn that as you pulled out, cops were right there with a gun?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn or anyone else that as you go around, you see the cop car hit you?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Quinn or anyone else that the car bumped the tail of the car you were in?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that as you went out, the cops shot?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that after the cop fired a shot, you went around, boom, and hit the gate?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn or anyone else that you went straight across, jumped on the wall, boom, hit the other wall, boom, right into the laundromat?
No, ma'am.
Oh, he was the driver.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you if you saw a police car down there at the bottom of the wall at the laundromat?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that you didn't see a police car?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you whether you were driving the car that almost landed on the police car?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall saying in response to such a question, yes, sir?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn or anyone else, I lied to the detectives when they first came?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that you lied to the detectives when they first came to talk to you, and you told them that Big Fred was driving when actually you were the driver?
I don't recall any conversation I had with Detective Quinn.
Do you
What?
recall
He was the
telling
driver?
Detective Quinn that Big Fred was in fact the passenger, that DK was behind you, and Young Thug was behind Big Fred?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you whether Big Fred was like 6'8" and 354 pounds?
Oh, 6'8".
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you if Big Fred was sitting in the back seat?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling him, no, he's in the front seat with me?
6'8".
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you questions to make sure he got who was situated where in the car correct?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn one thing earlier in the interview or in a conversation with him and then another later on?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn, yeah, I told a few bullshit lies, but I'm not going to keep on shooting with you?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn, I'm just going to keep it all the way live, man?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn everything just happened so fast that none of this was even supposed to occur?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective David Quinn that your man had just come home from prison?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you about the guy with the money and whether Thug came to you with what sounded to him like a lick?
No, ma'am.
What do you
Sure is, Shirley.
a lick to be if we're talking about
Trying to
coming?
be a teenager.
I don't recall, ma'am.
Have you heard the term lick used for robbery?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling telling Detective Quinn that on September 11, 2013, you had $345 of your own?
No, ma'am.
Do you know whether $345 was taken from you and put into Atlanta Police Department property?
No, ma'am.
Somebody had some money.
Recall telling Detective Quinn that you had your own money?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Quinn that you had cash in your pocket?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Quinn that that money had nothing to do with what was going on up in Summerdale?
No, ma'am.
Miss, before you pause another question, can I get you a defense representative? Come on up here, please. All right, thanks.
They ain't offering that young man no water, nothing. And he been coughing. Now look, y'all, why they talking like that? Let me tell you this. How many people can remember what they did back in 2013? I can't. I can't remember what I did in 2013. I had an accident before, but I'm not wrong know what year it was. I mean, don't nobody remember that. Them boys 44 and 30-something years old. Why they wait now to do a RICO on these old men's? They were going to do a RICO. They should have did a RICO when they was teenagers. This was the dumbest. I think this was just a dumb case. Why don't you should do a RICO on them and they already done did the time for it? They already did the time. And nobody want to remember nothing like that. Who want to remember what they did when they was young?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I understand that at least somebody wants to take a break. Okay, I have it on good authority. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and do this. Since it's close to lunch, let's take your comfort break. We'll go ahead and just have lunch, and let's just plan on coming back for 1 o'clock, and then the plan for the afternoon is we'll take about another hour.
Okay,
Yes.
so we'll take a break too. But think about it, y'all. Just think about it. Them boys was on drugs. They did everything to stay awake. They did everything to be wild. Who gonna remember that? What they did when they was 15, they were 16. They was in high school. Now they older man, 44, going on 50. Come on, y'all. This was, we were not used to doing a RICO on them. They out there in their late 30s. They did the time. This don't make no sense. This don't make no sense. This RICO don't make no sense. If you're gonna do a RICO on them, you should have did it when they was teenagers, not now, cause they did the time. Serve when they were young, but who gonna remember? I don't even remember what I did in 2013. If it was bad, good, I don't want to remember what way back that I done been through better days now. You don't want to remember that stuff.
We'll be complete, okay? All right, so,
Let me see when they don't came out the break. Let me get them out their break. They take more breaks than anybody. This don't make no sense. Why don't you used to doing the RICO? I don't remember. I don't know what I said to no police. I don't know them boys said to them police. And you're trying to make them remember. Okay, let's go with. Now they done came from break. I think it was dumb. I think the RICO wasn't nothing but just to get to Trump. To get to Trump. That's all. Them boys already done did that time. Leave them boys alone. They old men now. And ain't no use to them acting like they was all good boys too. Them lawyers and judges and stuff, that they were all good boys back in the days. Y'all were bad too. Don't nobody remember that junk.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. All right, thank you, Sergeant Ingram. All right, Miss Love, you can continue the examination.
She don't ask him the same question.
Yes, ma'am. You got hear me? Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Dean, I'm gonna pick up where we left off right before lunch, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you recall on or in September of 2013, telling either Detective Quinn or another police detective at the Atlanta Police Headquarters, that you did not have a gun in the car on September 11th, 2013?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling either Detective Quinn or another detective that you shot no guns on September 11th, 2013?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn or another detective asking you on or about September 16th, 2013, who had pistols in that car?
Basis. Mr. Matthews, what is your hearsay?
Effect on the listener.
Overruled.
Do
No, ma'am.
you remember the answer to the question I just asked?
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am.
All right. You don't recall that.
No, ma'am. Right there.
Do you recall telling a detective with the Atlanta Police Department in an interview, you got Big Fred with a gun? Do you recall saying that?
No, ma'am.
You got DK with a gun. Do you recall saying that?
No, ma'am.
And you got Thug with a gun. Do you remember telling him that?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember Detective Quinn or any other detective asking you in September 2013, Big Fred, what kind of gun did Big Fred have?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn or another detective in September 2013, as it relates to September 11th, he had, that is Big Fred, he had the 9. He had a 9mm Ruger.
No, ma'am.
Do you own firearms, sir?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever owned firearms?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn or another detective on September 16, 2017, DK had a little bitty, small, little great-looking gun?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall being asked what kind of gun did DK have?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall saying that you didn't know what kind, you just knew it was a little bitty,
No, ma'am.
and that it was small and great? Do you remember saying that?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember Detective Quinn asking you whether or not the gun was an automatic or something else?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that all guns were automatic?
No, ma'am.
Do you know the difference between a pistol and a revolver?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall, let me ask you this, did you hang with DK Thug and Big Fred back in September of 2013?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective, I don't hang with them?
No, ma'am.
Do you know how old Big Fred is?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall, or do you know how old Young Thug is?
No, ma'am.
Did you know how old he was or around the age he was on September 11, 2013?
Nobody remember that.
Do you recall saying to a detective with APB, these are younger guys than me and Big Fred?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective that y'all were trying to show your big homie a good time?
Ma'am, no, ma'am.
Do you recall telling him that you told Big Fred to buy him brand new clothes?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling a detective that you don't know what these young guys, what their intentions were, but they're way beyond what you and Big Fred were on?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall saying that the younger guys go by a whole other means of getting money.
No, ma'am.
Nah, that don't even make sense.
At APD that you hustle to get your money.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective at APD how it is that the younger guys like to get their money?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall a detective asking you in an interview at the Atlanta Police Department what kind of gun did Young Thug have? If you could remember.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall see Young Thug's gun?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall being asked, well, if you didn't see it, how'd you know he had one when he got in the car?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective that you knew that he had a gun because he kept one on him?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall discussing or telling the detective how much you were supposed to pay for the lease?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Telling the detective that you all were going to split the pot?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective that it was supposed to be $150 for the lien?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall saying that it was supposed to be you pay 50, Doug pay 50, and DK pays 50?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall saying that you all were going to go in on the lien to show Big Fred at this time?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective that in September 2013, by September 2013, you only known DK for a few weeks?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective that on September 11, 2013, that was only the second time that you got into the car with DK?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall describing for Detective Quinn on September 16, 2017, the tattoo that DK had on his face?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn he just got a tattoo? He got a tattoo, the D and the back
No, ma'am.
on his forehead. Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you what that's all about?
But
That
that man don't remember that.
And do you recall telling Detective Quinn? I don't know.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that you were just a family man who just got home? You were just a family man.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you about DK and who he was friends with in the car, who he's tight with in the car?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that DK was tight with Thug, Young Thug?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that DK and Thug
I don't know. Listen, yeah, she may sure. Come on.
No, ma'am. This is being honest, I can't remember nothing like that. They can't even remember nothing. The judge can't remember what he was doing at 2013. She can't remember what she was doing in 2013. I most definitely can't remember what what I was doing in 2013. I don't know. I don't remember what I said. I don't even remember what I did. No. I don't remember Ned. You don't even know where I was working at then. I do know where I was working at. Thug. Thug, you looking good now. You been eating good. You ain't on the street. You getting old. Them chillin' needs you now. Your chillins needs you now. It ain't about you no more. It's about them. I like Thug because he's paying attention. He look real nice. Dang, I'm telling you, all the boys in there look nice since they wasn't teenager, they were rough. Now they look real nice. I'm gonna have to give it to them. They look like young men, man. Don't look like thugs. Thug. They were thugging then. Look at them. They look old like old men now. Little old deacon men. He don't even look like he would have did that. But in him, he don't even look like he did. Now, he got some good hair on his head. All night boys right there. If they were gonna do a Rico on them, they should have did it back then when they was a teenager. Shoot, they old men now. They old men now. They doing the time served now. Yeah. They ain't even halfway through this trial. They keep putting out him for. We should hurry up. Let somebody else talk. They almost finished, y'all. Tired of her.
Mr. Bean, do you recall telling the detective with the Atlanta Police Department in September of 2013 that DK and Thug are down with each other?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective that DK and Thug
Isaac in here. Hey, Isaac.
some type of blood?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall the detective asking you how long you've known Thug?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective that you've known Thug's dad for over a couple of years?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective that Thug just started coming around in pain?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall the detective asking you how long you've known Thug to exist as a human being?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective he's a rapper since I came from nothing?
No, ma'am.
You said you know Young Thug by his music. Is that right?
I know it's music.
It's music.
And have you heard nothing about I came from nothing as it relates to his music?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective that they call Young Thug Good Jeff?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective that his daddy's name is Jethro, that the dad is Jethro and Thug is Little Jeff?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall the detective saying, okay, I'll figure it out before we leave?
No, ma'am.
Do you,
No.
do you recall the detective asking you whether if you saw a picture of the kid DK again, would you recognize him? Do you recall the detective asking you that?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall the detective telling you that he had with him a picture of a kid named DK with a backwards K in the middle of his forehead? Do you recall the detective telling you that?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall the detective showing you a picture and asking you, is that the DK that got in the car?
Objection, Your Honor. Based on calls.
Effect on the listener.
Oh,
Do you recall the detective asking you, is that the DK that got in your car while showing you a picture of a person?
no, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective that that in fact was the DK that got in the car?
No, ma'am.
And do you recall telling the detective that he got in the back seat?
No, ma'am.
recall the detective asking you whether DK had a lot of money on him, or asking about money that DK may have had on him on September 11th, 2013?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective that on September 11th, 2013, as you were going up and down, you heard a couple of shots?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective that you all went off the wall, over the wall?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall being asked by the detective, how did it happen that you all went over that wall?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective that the car just went out of control and wouldn't bring itself, it wouldn't brake?
No, ma'am.
And do you recall telling the detective that after the gate hit, the car just went?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective that the car went over that grass and did its own thing?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective that it went straight to that wall? No steering, no acceleration, none of that. It was just gone.
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective that you did not mash the gas? It was just the car did its own thing.
No, ma'am.
It's scary. They went up in the air
Do
and
you recall speaking to the detective about a probation violation that you had?
No, ma'am.
y'all was some bad boys.
Detective that you didn't get a bond after you were arrested on September 11th, 2013 because of that probation violation.
No, ma'am.
Do you remember the detective asking or actually playing for you a recording of a woman who was talking about having just gotten a gun?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember telling the detective that that was your wife on the recording?
No, ma'am.
What?
Do you recall the detective playing more than one recording for you?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall the detective telling you that he needed to know about whether or not the officer's shooting was justified? Do you remember telling the detective that?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn or any other detective playing you a recording about the events of September 11th, 2013, of yourself and someone else discussing that?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling the detective a second time that all that shit happened so fast?
How did they jump over that wall? I don't understand it. God, that's scary.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that you told DK and Thug to go ahead and go to the store, and that they went to the store and came back talking about a lick around the corner?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that they came back and said, in your words, that nigga named goddamn Red got the money?
No, ma'am.
Do you know a person named Red or who went by the name Dirty Red on September 11th, 2013?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that you were just like, F this, I'm just get in the car and drive. That's it. That's the only time I drove all them. I ain't go nowhere.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Do you remember talking to Detective Quinn about a person named Buff Buff?
No, ma'am.
Do you know a person named Buff Buff?
No, ma'am.
Are you familiar with a person named Buff Buff?
No, ma'am.
Are you aware of anyone who goes by the name Buff Buff?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Call Detective Quinn claiming at least 3 calls that you made to your wife while you were inside.
Ooh, lady.
No, ma'am.
She knows she in the camera way.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you about a statement you made that one of the niggas in the back shot by accident, probably?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that it was probably Big Fred that got shot by someone inside the car you were driving on September 11, 2013?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that you heard like 2 shots while you were inside the car after it had lost control?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn you did not want to go into court to testify about the things you were saying in that?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall at any time feeling back in 2013 that you did not want to go into court and tell anybody what you had just?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you, is the Taurus in front of you or behind you?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn, the Taurus is in front, the police Taurus is in front of you?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you, did you know that it was the police?
I don't recall.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn, I didn't know it was the police?
I don't recall.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that you were like, hold on, let me see, I see a Taurus?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that you wanted to make sure that it was a Taurus?
No, ma'am.
So, do you recall telling Detective Quinn, so the cop in the Taurus is going on in, and boom, we back in?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that DK goes and gets the money, and he gets out, boom, 2 minutes later, he's popping shots?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that DK didn't even have time to take any money?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you, did you see who DK was shooting at?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that DK didn't have time to take money because he was shooting?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you if you saw all the money on the ground when you were in the back of the police car?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that you didn't see any money on the ground? You didn't even know that DK had taken money?
No, ma'am.
There's plenty of money on the ground, though.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that after the car crash, that one guy ran this way, another ran that way, another ran that way, and that everybody go run their own separate way.
No,
Recall telling him that?
no, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you about a statement you said to your wife, I wish I would have run with Thug because he got away?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember asking, or Detective
Thug
Quinn
got
asking
away.
you, which way did Thug go?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember telling Detective Quinn, me and Thug got out of the car, we jumped. We were freaking though, we were freaking out. DK said against him apparently because he was shot or whatever. Thug jumped the wall, I jumped the wall, I jumped up here, Thug went behind the Dollar King. Do you recall telling that to Detective Quinn?
I don't recall.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn, I jumped over in the parking lot, and as I'm running across the parking lot, that's when the police car come and run me over or whatever?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall Detective Quinn asking you what kind of car ran you over?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that the blue Taurus ran you over?
No, ma'am.
And do you recall telling Detective Quinn that it was the same blue Taurus that you had seen in Summerdale?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall telling Detective Quinn that it was the females in the blue Taurus?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Love,
Mr. Bean, for the court's instructions,
yeah, Mr. Bean, at this point in time, we're going to stop your examination as we come to a point in the afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned earlier, this is our natural stopping point for today. So what I'd like to do is to go ahead and recess you. Mr. Bean, I'll need you to come back in the morning
Whoa,
for 9
Lord.
o'clock, okay? And then you'll resume your testimony at that point in time, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Please don't discuss your testimony with anybody except the attorneys in this case. Have a good evening, okay?
Okay, y'all. What they gonna do? They gonna stop right here for the day, and he'll be returned tomorrow. Do y'all believe that he remember that stuff? He's 44 now, y'all, and he was like in 11th grade then. You think he can remember all of that stuff? You who don't remember what they did in 2013? Now, if anything, I remember the accident because they jumped over a wall. they were they jumped over a wall. So I know they remember that incident right there. But don't nobody want to remember that stuff like that. Them boys was on drugs, y'all. They was on drugs and everything. So they not on drugs now. They old men now. So I was thinking that if they were gonna do a RICO, they should have got them boys when they were teenagers. They were locked up for certain things. They trying to catch Young Thug. Young Thug don't got the hell on. Young Thug don't got the hell on. He ain't sit there wait on no police. Them what you supposed to do, supposed to get up and run. So they didn't catch him. So that dude did the best he could. He don't remember. I don't recall. I don't remember. That's what it is. So we'll see y'all tomorrow on day 40. We're on day 40, y'all. Wow, they rolling. We're on day 40, but we haven't even got halfway in the trial. So in this case right here, there's no snitch. We didn't have him to snitch or nothing like that. He didn't snitch on nobody. So we'll see him back in court tomorrow. Ain't nobody gonna tell on Young Thug. They ain't crazy. All them young men don't made a change in their life.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. So tomorrow we will reconvene. As I mentioned, if y'all could be here by 9 o'clock for an anticipated 9:30 start time, we will work till probably around the noontime hour or shortly thereafter, and then I'll recess you as just to kind of preview for next week. Remember, we'll come in around 10:30 on Monday, and we'll start at 11, and then we'll be on administrative days from the 5th through the 12th. Okay, we'll come back on that following Wednesday. So if you've got anything you need to plan or anything such as that, that would give you some sufficient
You
time
might remember.
to
What you said.
okay?
They
All right.
make me remember a
Administrator.
little bit, just a little bit. I said just a tiny bit, but
All
not
right. Let's
everything.
go
Don't
through
nobody want to remember
your
nothing like that.
applications, all right?
He said he
If
was
you're
on
not at the
Molly.
basket, please don't discuss anything amongst
He
yourselves
was.
in regards to which
One thing about it,
years you're not started. You cannot begin the
they was on something. He was on something. They was on something. Bob's on drugs, y'all. Everything. They were teenagers. I don't remember half of the stuff I did when I was a teenager. Boy, this part of boy. In the car that I wish I could pull up the car. Hold on, let me see. They talking about the car wreck, y'all. We'll talk about and they let me see, can I find it? Okay, they hold on, y'all. I got to show y'all the car. Okay, let me put I think that was day 37. Let me see, 37. Right. I want to show y'all the car they was talking about. The red car that they stole from the Mexican boy. Yeah. I don't pay me no attention, y'all. This just be tripping me out. Young man was buying him some drugs, and they took his car for a drive. That's what they do. Back in the day, they let you borrow their car because they didn't have no money to buy their drugs, so they go get your car and go joyriding in it. Let me see, is 30 today. This is hold on. I just want y'all to see the car again. Hold on.
Even with your
Hey, babe, you want to go to a show tonight? Don't worry, it's included.
Hold on here.
emergency situation.
Hold on. Kyle, I just want to see here you go. Here you go. Remember when we looking at this? Okay, on day 37. This the area that this is the area where they said third ran.
Roberts.
And this is Summerdale.
Roberson L. Fired a discharge weapon and
Let me find the car.
but I make it based upon the best decisions I can make at that point on.
Hold on, y'all.
she came to my house and told me.
Oh, if I could only find the car. All I want to show y'all is the car. I don't want to show y'all the case. So y'all can see what's going on. Let's see, 38. Let me see something. 36. 36. Let me go right here. Okay. So I'm going to show y'all the car.
This was Detective David.
I don't know him. Who in the world is that?
Even when he pulls back, loses interest.
I don't know that man.
Quinn, is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
Would it be fair to say that you would have taken your instructions in terms of what you needed to do from that detective?
That is correct.
You had an opportunity.
Look, now I look an old man. Okay, this it. Wait, let me see. She the one took the guns out the car. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
With the court's permission,
Okay, let me.
number 99
Here we go. There go. That's what I want y'all to see. Hold on.
to go to 82. Okay. Focus on
Okay. This is what they just asked him about. That red car. They were trying to say the guy who y'all seen today on the stand, he was driving the car. Up. Up that wall, jumped that fence, and got the hell on. But the police was sitting back here. So the car, what make that car go over that wall like that and hit that? So dude said that one driving. Y'all remember that? If not me, it would have been.
2004 Nissan reddish color. I'm going to say red. Altima. Both doors on the driver's side.
Said dude.
Yes, sir.
They're shut. Fair to say.
Yes, sir.
And this is how you found
Said dude's house.
or manipulating anything with the car.
It
correct?
flew over that rail.
Myself, or I directed anybody to manipulate the car, yes.
Okay.
I don't know what it looked like prior to me getting there, only when I got there.
Okay.
Wonder what made
And then there'll be other pictures, but there's two items also red that are near or leaning up against the car. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Just show that to the jurors using your device at your fingertip. Okay.
They
Right.
tore that car
Like that?
up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. And those are items that you observed came from the car.
Yes, they appear to be like fenders or bumpers.
And you know what?
Mr. Williams, number 81. It looks like it's a similar picture to me, but I just want to be complete.
Hold up, y'all.
You had this picture taken, but now we see
Look at this car.
the front passenger door and the rear passenger door.
They tore this car up. And to make it so bad, this the dude who he let them borrow the car. That's his old lady car right there. This his girlfriend car. And her friend, while she going to school, he want to go get high. And they went joyriding. This at 10 o'clock, y'all, a.m. How they get out of that car? How did they get out of that car? Why the car tore up on this side?
See
Gosh.
that there is some damage there, a buckling, where the two doors come together, the rear and the
Look at
front.
that car.
Okay. And do you remember, and I know it going back years, I heard you say, but do you remember it being hard to open the rear passenger door? Objection, Your Honor.
See, I was just said that. Okay, I ain't gonna play the whole thing like that. But right here, looking at this car right here, common sense will tell us that. Look at this car, y'all. Common sense will tell us that. The way that car look. See, the police was right there. Hold up. Hold on, y'all. Wait. Can't get it to stop. I wanted to stop. I'm trying to understand how they get out the door. And the door messed up. Look at that. How they get out the door and kind of pick a door? They kicked that door open. They had time enough to look like the airbag went out. Looked like the airbag. Towed that car up, man. Towed that car up. And hopped that wall. Young Thug his tall self. Look at the door, y'all. How he kicked that door open. This is the car that they were just talking about. This is the car. If you look at that car right here, why it look like it been hit more than one time? They must have hit some more people. Car here is towed up. Look right here. Look right here. They don't hit some stuff before they hit that. You know what? They don't hit something else before they hit that wall. That's how that car lost control. That's how that car lost control. And went flying over the police head. Because they hit something. Now, if Thug got out on this side, Red 6'8", he was sitting up in the front. That's why the front seat sitting back. Thug leg long too, so he can't be sitting on this boy's side right there. He had to be on that side over there. I still don't understand how they got out of that car. And why the police didn't do nothing. They were scared. They were scared. They were still shaking up because a car went over their head while they sitting there lubby-dubby. Just imagine you sitting in your car, police unit, and a car come over your head, and y'all got your car door open. Why didn't y'all react? And y'all could have got through. Y'all knew them boys were going to run. What young boys don't run? Teenagers don't run. And it like to me, Thug wouldn't have been on this side of the car. He wouldn't have been on this side. Oh, look, y'all, they hit all up under there. He wouldn't have been on this side of the car if this boy's 6'8". And the boy who was in the court today, who we just saw, they trying to claim that he was the driver. He ain't had no scars on him. They don't know what happened.
The crime scene tape to the back. You see that?
Yes, sir.
And also in number 5, you see the fire engine and other first responders, law enforcement authorities. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then again, this is now we're looking at the passenger side of the car, and you see that blue item.
Yes.
Do you know what that blue item is?
No.
Okay. And you can see in here that window broken out that you described in the rear window of the passenger.
Yes, sir.
Rear passenger.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'd like to go to 106. This is how the trunk appeared when you found it.
Yes, sir.
Fair to say. And you see that blue item standing up next to the vehicle.
Yes.
And then you have like a miracle bubble. You see that?
Yes.
And then you can tell us, but it looks like a bag, some items of clothing, maybe shoes to that effect.
They in somebody else's car.
Number 107 of Mr. Williams. That's the further back view of that trunk area and the car.
God, the whole trunk came off.
106, correct?
Yes, sir.
Number 108. This is now the driver's side of the vehicle, fair to say?
Yes, sir.
And that's a better picture, is it not, of the trunk being dislodged from the vehicle?
Yes.
All right. And then the bumper being dislodged from the vehicle, front bumper.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then in the background, you see the ambulance, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 109, Mr. Williams. If you don't know, then just say, this is not
Here go the wall, Thug jump.
any wall, correct?
Yes.
And that's where the car that we've been talking about, the 2004 Nissan Altima, supposedly flew off of crashing.
Okay, this the wall that the car came over, y'all. The police was sitting right there. And the car came over the wall. They didn't know it was a police car right there. So happened God put a police car at a police car sitting right there. They jumped this wall high up in the air. Whoever was driving on did that before. He must race cars. Cause they love to race cars in Georgia.
Has some trees down in that picture of Mr. Williams, number 109.
Yes.
111 of Mr. Williams. We've discussed, I believe, all of these items, and this is just the further away look. Is that true?
A different angle.
Okay. It also has, I don't know if they're, you correct me, are they skid marks? What would that be?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's made, do you know which tire would make that?
No, that would not be in my job.
That's fine. Okay. Let's go to number 112 of Mr. Williams. You see on, and Mr. Kokomo can help us, you see on the right-hand side, center, but a little lower than center.
How they get out the car?
The rear bumper, see the rear red bumper?
Yes.
And you see the gouge marks in the pavement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that also beyond, you don't want to comment on how that was made, do you?
I wouldn't know. No, sir.
Okay, that's fine. Do you know what the item is that's right in front of the rear red bumper of Mr. Williams 112?
Something that's supposed to go in the trunk.
Do you know what by chance?
I believe it's that carpet section that goes over where the spare tire was.
Say it one more time.
Not the carpet section, but that, when you open the trunk and then you have to pull that piece out to get the spare tire out. That piece.
With the little,
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. I just know that's where you find the spare.
Come on now. That ain't important.
got it. And was that in Mr. Williams?
Okay, well, anyway, I just wanted to show y'all that in the case that we just saw, day 39, is what, let me put it back on the board. I just want to make sure y'all with it now. So you won't get confused. Okay? 39, we just saw 30. Right here. This the guy. Let me take him.
Tell me about your new neighbors. They're black.
I didn't want y'all to see that.
There she is, slaving away.
All right. What are your questions of me, Administrator?
Hold on. Him. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Now, the case, I just wanted y'all to know that the case, what we just saw, was about that car I just showed y'all. They were trying to say he was the driver. Okay? So I showed y'all the red car that jumped the wall. They tried to say that the prosecutor trying to say he was driving the car back in 2013. He was about in 11th grade. So he's 44 now. So I just wanted y'all to see they trying to figure out some things. And he got to come back tomorrow. Okay, y'all, I appreciate y'all joining. Don't forget to hit the like button, y'all. Come on now. I know I could get better, more than four likes, but we appreciate y'all viewing the channel. And I appreciate those who showed up in the chat and those who watching. Put your comments in the comment section. And tomorrow, on day 40, we'll be back. We'll be back with this young man right here. Okay? All right, I want to give a shout out to all my mods. I love y'all. Y'all be safe out there, okay? I'm out.